As Chancellor Watt could not join us this afternoon to present the honorary doctorates, I would like to invite Board Chair Lenita Layton to introduce Andrew Pringle.
Thank you. On behalf of Chancellor Jamie Watt, who is unable to be with us this afternoon, I am honored to introduce Andrew, fondly known as Andy Pringle, our honorary doctorate recipient. It is foolish to try to summarize the life of man into a single phrase. However, the greater mistake would be to try and capture the totality of Andy Pringle's contributions to this city and this entire country in the space of a single speech. It just isn't possible. Instead, we can say that Andy Pringle goes where others do and will not. You might expect that a person who could be wrapped in a neat little phrase like this to be a renowned iconoclast, known for breaking the rules or dismantling conventions. But here's a man who worked his way to the very mountaintop of Canadian finance. Managing Director at RBC Capital Markets, Chairman of RP Investment Advisors, and who did so through nothing more than acumen and relentless hard work by sheer force of will. It is not necessary to describe that peak or the nature of the grueling climb to the summit, because that would actually miss the point. Because that climb is not the reason Andy is sitting before you on this stage. Why we, as a community, are bestowing this honor upon him. We do so instead because Andy's story truly begins where most others end. Because he rewrote his story at a time when most others choose to kick up their feet. At 52, he retired to devote himself to philanthropy, to serving others. And if the concept of retirement still has any meaning, Andy Pringle destroyed it. But so too of the term philanthropy, because Andy goes where others do and will not. The first step he took in this direction was during his tenure as the inaugural board member of the Canadian Foundation for AIDS Research. And when CanFAR's founder, the beloved Bluma Apple, passed away, he assumed its chair, a position he has held for 16 years and continues to hold. But this was just the start. In healthcare, where he's been a tireless supporter of the Center for Addiction and Mental Health, CAMH. In education, where alongside his wife Valerie, they single-handedly made possible a groundbreaking urban farm project, the produce of which is used to help those facing food insecurity at Toronto Metropolitan University. And of course, in the arts. Andy has been a board member at the Shaw Festival in Niagara-on-the-Lake. He played a crucial role in organizing and fundraising the campaign that revitalized the historic Kingate Cooperative, an iconic Inuit art cooperative. And when no one else wanted the job, a volunteer job that is, Andy stepped up and assumed the chair's role at the McMichael Canadian Art Collection. There, he is working with the institution's leadership to deliver on the most significant reimagining of the institution since its founding. Sarah Milroy, Executive Director and Chief Curator of the McMichael, has stated, Andy is simply amazing. He supports leadership, provides strategic direction, raises money, and preaches the gospel of Canadian art across diverse communities. Unlike so many, Andy practices what he preaches. He is a great collector of Canadian art, always directly buying from artists. Graduates, distinguished guests, this is more than just a holistic approach to philanthropy and community involvement. This is a superpower, a power of the finest kind. Because when you go where others have and do not go, you find others that have left behind, turned their backs on, ignored. You build communities from the ground up. You discover the beauty others overlook. You leave a trail for all of us to take. For that reason today, we do the opposite of what Andy Pringle is all about. We focus, we shine a light on him, his achievements, his love of country, his path, and we are so fortunate that this path has led him here today, where we honor his legacy, his courage, and his unwavering dedication to making a difference, where we welcome a community builder into our community as a Doctor of Laws. In a world where many choose the easy path, Andy Pringle not only demonstrates the value of taking the road less traveled, he builds it. President and Vice Chancellor Anna Serrano, graduates, and distinguished guests, may I present OCAD University's latest Doctor of Laws, Andrew Pringle.
Andy, on behalf of the Senate of OCAD University, I confer upon you, Andrew Pringle, the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining. Oh, we have shut there.
Thank you, Board Chair Layton, and thank you, Chancellor Watt, for those that warm introduction and those over-generous comments. President and Vice Chancellor, Chancellor, Provost, Deans, graduates, honored guests. First of all, thank you so very much. I'm thrilled to receive this honorary doctorate. And it's much appreciated acknowledgement of my small contributions to community and to the arts. However, I'm especially honored to be here to share it with you all today. Congratulations to all of you graduating after all your hard work. So congratulations to the class of 2024. As a trader and investment manager, someone who has spent over 50 years in the investment business, you may be surprised, indeed I'm a little surprised, to be so recognized by this great university known for its excellence and leadership in the arts. I was at school in the 1960s and early 1970s, like now, a time of significant social challenge and change. The Vietnam War, continual conflict in the Middle East, student riots, Watergate, but it was also a time of the civil rights movement, the nascent gay rights movement, women's liberation, and inspirational leaders like Gloria Steinem and Martin Luther King and John Kennedy and his brother Robert. And I was particularly inspired, and indeed still am inspired, by President Kennedy's challenge, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. That thought captivated me. Certainly I wanted to do well in life, but I also wanted to make a difference with my life, to do well and to do good. Fortunately, the investment firm I joined after university had many great role models. Our chairman, for one, was an active and vocal supporter of the Royal Ontario Museum, the National Ballet, and the Stratford Festival, and all at the same time. Another of my senior colleagues, Michael Wilson, left the firm in his mid-40s to enter Parliament, becoming one of our country's most respected finance ministers, and after leaving politics, became really the national spokesperson and champion for mental health across Canada and for the Centre of Addiction and Mental Health here in Toronto. These were my role models who showed by example how to do both well and do good, if only I had the courage. I started slowly by volunteering at my former school. Then in 1992, I joined the board of the Canadian Foundation for AIDS Research, CANFAR. Now, AIDS then was a global pandemic, an almost certain death sentence with no cure in sight. My brother-in-law is gay, and several of his friends were ill, and I wanted to help. Frankly, it was a hugely transformative experience, probably the most transformative experience of my life, taking me entirely out of my comfort zone to work with a diverse, kind, and caring group of people to raise awareness about HIV and AIDS, particularly amongst young people, and to raise money to fund research in Canada into all aspects of HIV and AIDS. Today, AIDS is a manageable illness, but still challenging in this country, and particularly challenging in this country because of ignorance, lack of government focus, and frankly, entrenched health and economic inequities. There's still a great deal to be done, and I continue to spend about 15% of my time on this challenge. Now, success at CANFAR led to invitations and opportunities to be involved in other great causes. Challenges as diverse as the Evergreen Brickworks, the United Way. You heard about the green roof at the Toronto Metropolitan University. But I also chaired the Toronto Police Services Board. I worked in politics with John Tory and Jim Flaherty. I was at the Shaw Festival, Mount Sinai Hospital, and as you heard, my current role as chair of the McMichael Canadian Art Collection. I continue as chair of an investment management firm. And don't tell my partners this, but I spend well over 50% of my time working on these volunteer jobs. And here's the great secret about volunteer work. If you really commit to it, if you really engage in it, you'll get, I think, far more out of it than you put in. Not just a feeling of giving an accomplishment, but an enormous emotional reward. You meet new people. You get moved out of your comfort zone. You broaden your horizons. You grow as a person. You become more tolerant, understanding the people and the world, I think, just a little bit better. So briefly, that is my journey so far. So what's my message? Well, it's this. You are at the start of your great next journey, where if you so choose, you can do both well and do good. And if you choose that plan, then look for role models, mentors, people whose contributions you feel are exceptional and worth emulating. Determined to make a difference in whatever endeavors you take on, whether it's in the arts, community, the environment, politics, education. Choose your passion and pursue your dream of making a positive difference. And be positive yourself and persevere. Ted Rogers, the Canadian media entrepreneur, always used to say, "The best is yet to come." And while it may not always be true, it is a wonderful life philosophy, a positive, forward-thinking vision, frankly echoed by many of the most successful leaders. The great pianist Oscar Peterson asked, frankly, after his stroke and shortly before the end of his life, was asked what the greatest piece of music he'd ever written was. And one thought it would naturally be Hymn to Freedom. Instead, his answer was, "I haven't written it yet." That's a great message. And it's always one that keeps in the back of my mind. Stay curious and always look forward. Finally, be fearless. Yes, you'll make some mistakes, but you'll learn from them and do better next time. And of all the things I've done in my career, the regrets are not the ones I tried but didn't do as well as I wanted at, but rather the things that I didn't have the courage to take on and so missed the opportunity to contribute. Remember Wayne Gretzky's advice about goal scoring. You don't score on 100% of the shots you don't take. It was echoed by the actress Viola Davis at last fall's TIFF, where she said, "Everything you could ever want is on the other side of fear." So congratulations. You have accomplished so much to get to this point. Take the moment and savor it. Savor all you've done and share it and celebrate it with your families and friends. And thank all of those who helped you get here. But then onward, begin the next journey stay curious, seek excellence, work hard, be kind, be fearless, because the best is yet to come. Thank you.
Please join me in congratulating Andrew Pringle.